What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna with Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. I'm super excited. I've got a guest that is passionate about what I'm passionate about. She is a Sixtypreneur, pro-aging fitness enthusiast with the goal of changing the narrative around aging through fitness and by embracing a healthy lifestyle. Please welcome Gail Gensler from Miami. Gail, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody.
I love what you're all about. Can you tell the audience a little bit about your background?
Certainly. Well, I'm originally from New York, and as the old saying goes, you can take the woman out of New York, but you can't take New York out of the woman. So I still truly do identify as a New Yorker, even though I've been in Miami for a very long time. And I do enjoy living here, but I'm in the automotive industry for my full-time career for a mere 35 years and at my current company for 22. I have been married before, divorced. I have a spectacular, wondrous 25-year-old daughter who is just incredible, who is the love of my life and is full-on adulting in her own space, and I'm very proud of her if you can't tell. So that's just the general overall bio. But around 2 years ago or so, I became cognizant of the fact that all of the commercials that I saw on television were depicting women in the midlife space into a very specific box and with a very specific label on them. Mm-hmm. And I saw that and I said, where am I? I am not being depicted. First of all, I'm clearly not like a silver-haired sister. No. I'm not a grandmotherly looking person. Nope. Not that there's anything wrong with any of these things, but it's just not me. Because of the healthy lifestyle that I embrace and great genes, thank you, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, I am not in need of any medication. So I'm not taking any medication, drugs, absolutely amazing supplements from a brand that I partner with, Clientele Beauty and MDR Labs. But, and I am not ready to retire. So in Florida, in South Florida, there are these over 55 communities, and they show people living a lovely but quite different lifestyle than I lead. You know, they were taking leisurely strolls and they were playing a little golf and some tennis. And it's like, that looks lovely, but not for me. Yeah. Where are the people that are in beast mode boxing every day and doing crazy HIIT classes and traveling and doing all the things that I do, living very loud and very vibrantly? Where am I? And I started thinking about that. And I thought, there have to be other women that are of the same mindset. I didn't have the word pro-aging until I met a very specific person who gave me my first opportunity to be published. And I was just published again with her. And I realized there is an entire space of mostly women, it's 99% women in midlife, who are of the same pro-aging mindset that I am and are living vibrantly, very engaged in life, rediscovering themselves or discovering new components about themselves that they didn't know existed. And that's where I fit in, right? I didn't know I can write. I didn't know I can do all of the things that I've been doing for the last 2 years and having a blast doing it. And as the journey rolled on, I realized that there's importance here. And I realized that I wanted to leave a legacy and contribute to society. And if not for me in my lifetime to accomplish the goals that I want to accomplish, which is to change the narrative about aging and to combat institutional ageism, then at least for my daughter, who's 25, and future generations, because there always have to be pioneers. Yeah. And if it weren't for those pioneers, particularly with women, we wouldn't be having this conversation today. That's right. And I embarked on this endeavor. I met my agent. I have a wonderful agent, Stellar Media Agency, and started my Instagram and, just everything that I'm doing on all social media platforms, began modeling and organizing fitness and fashion events and public speaking, which I've actually always done, but just not in this space.
Yeah.
Blogging, I'm published globally in several platforms, and just
Wow.
meeting incredible women like you, because we find each other, right? We do. We find each other. And the voices that we raise today are paving the way for the women of tomorrow and future generations. Now, mind you, I'm not completely selfless. I do have an ultimate goal for myself,
Okay.
which I'm working very hard on.
What is that?
So, because I'm in the fitness space, right? One of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to find my own niche.
Okay.
Being that I am extremely unique, so I started to be told at the beginning, like, we never met anybody like you. We never saw anybody like you. And I'm like, of course you didn't. I love that. So I thought, I'm going to be very specific and very in a silo of my niche. And then I started looking at all the big brands. What kind of models were they using for advertising their fitness brands? And what's interesting today is that whenever there's a political upheaval of something, the brands jump on, and then all of a sudden they're inclusive. So, whether it's body positivity, which was the first one, and then, of course, people of different skin color, and then it was people of different ethnic backgrounds, all aligning with different things that were happening in the world. Then there were, different sexual orientations. Then it was people with disabilities. So wonderful in this age of inclusivity, wonderful.
Yes.
But the one thing that we all, as human beings, share in common is that we all age.
Yes.
We all age. And yet there's nobody modeling fitness clothes in the fitness space who are real women. You look at a lot of these models and they're real women. They're not, 10-foot tall models that are born with legs up to here, right? They're very real looking people. And that's wonderful because it's much more relatable.
Yes.
And so my goal, because I do work with some smaller brands, but my goal is to be the face and the body of midlife women globally for the big brands, because we do control 64% of global spending.
Wow, that's a huge number.
It's a huge number. So why are the brands pandering to 20-year-olds in the hopes that they will rope them in for longevity, for loyalty, when you and I both know that a brand that's hot today is not hot tomorrow? And a brand that's hot tomorrow is not hot next year. So there is no loyalty amongst younger generations, and that's fine. That's okay. But we can afford those $200 leggings should we want to spend the money on them. And yet there's nobody like me out there. So that's my end goal. And I'm kind of on my way. So it's been a super productive 2 years. I have a team to thank for and a lot of hard work, but I'm loving it. And that's the most important thing, is I'm passionate about it. I'm loving it. I am feeling so engaged in midlife and so full of energy. I don't understand how people want to stop at this point.
Well, you look fantastic. And I'm buying what you're selling because I'm all about it. And I feel like what's lacking is the education on how to embrace aging in a way that is still youthful and accepting, and not to just slow down as they expect you to, right? Isn't that what you're saying, is that that's what they expect you to do, but you are not feeling that vibe and you have all this energy? And do you think that people, if they would not embrace that label so much, that they would actually feel invigorated to like be a pro-aging individual?
Absolutely. I couldn't have put it better myself. People buy into stereotypes, people buy into expectation levels of what society deems as normal, of what you're supposed to do at a particular stage in life. And of course, there's always the exceptions. You can always read about all these very famous entrepreneurs who were very successful much later in life.
Yes.
But those are the exceptions to the rule. I'm looking at a broad demographic of women who are either like me, I'm divorced for a very long time, and so I've just always done me for me, I do me, I am me, and I just keep going, right? I really never stopped, even when I had my daughter. I really didn't stop doing me because I didn't ever want to lose my identity. I was able to do everything. But there are women who dedicated themselves to being a mom and being a wife, and all of a sudden they're either empty nesters or perhaps they're no longer married, and they have no identity left, and they don't know who they are anymore, which breaks my heart. And so they have to reinvent themselves. But when you're getting bombarded with these messages of you can't do this and you can't do that, you know, I always say age should never determine what kind of clothes we wear, the activities we enjoy doing, and for me, of course, what kind of workouts we choose to do. But I would never, ever let society dictate what I'm meant to be doing at any given point within the parameters of I have socially acceptable behavior, I'm kind, you know, I do the right thing all the time. Well, I endeavor to do the right thing all the time. We all have mishaps, but you know, I have a good soul, and I'm known for being supremely kind. And as long as I'm working within those parameters, you know, don't tell me that because I'm now 61, I can't be in beast mode boxing every single day. That's ridiculous to me. It's a very archaic way of thinking, but I'm also very strong. And I've never subscribed to those type of societal rules that I thought were ridiculous. You know, those are my parents' generation.
Yeah, for sure.
Not mine. You know, I had groundbreaking brothers. They were both products of Woodstock. So, you know, I had groundbreaking siblings that sort of paved the way for that kind of thought. But yes, I think if more women understood that it is not necessary to fit into a particular stereotype, and if they saw more people like me, because if somebody walked into one of the big stores and saw somebody like me on the wall, as they will have their ambassadors, I'm not perfect, right? I'm not. I'm fit, sure, but I'm 61. I am not perfect. So you could look at me and go, wow, she looks pretty good in that. She's in midlife. She looks pretty good. You know what? I think I could look good in that too.
Absolutely.
Whereas when you look at a 20-year-old that's this big, that doesn't look like she's ever worked out a day in her life, how can you envision that outfit on yourself?
Yeah. Support for Label Free Podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Now, ladies, you can use this too. We're all inclusive here. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. And now we're going to have the ladies too, because come on, ladies, let's be real. We have an exclusive offer for my listeners, 20% off plus free shipping with the code LABELFREE20 at manscaped.com. So thank you, Manscaped, for your support. And everybody is welcome to purchase with my code. So I love the fact that you do HIIT and you're into like beast mode boxing, whatever you said. And people don't realize that doing those kind of workouts produces natural growth hormone, which is the youth hormone. And so that is one of the reasons why you're able to stay so youthful, stay so young, because you haven't allowed those barriers to hold you back, and you have done something. You continue to just like, you're reversing the age of time or the time. Yeah, right. Did I say that correctly? Tell me how you keep that energy up and why you're so passionate about doing those workouts.
I've always been athletic. I mean, I was athletic since I was a child. Again, 2 older brothers who were also athletic. And then I was blessed to be able to go to sleepaway camp every single year. And all you do is play sports all day long and some art and things like that. But I was always drawn to that. I was on the tennis team in school. I was on the volleyball team. I was a star tetherball player, if you know what that is, in camp. And it was quite interesting because I did read an article about 2 years ago, and they said, go back to your childhood and what sports, hopefully you liked something, find the sports you liked and see what that looks like in a workout environment today. And retrospectively, when I look at what I did, everything was upper body strength, hitting something, or
Yeah.
I was also on the kicking team. So kicking, hitting. So it wasn't really a big surprise that when I tried my first boxing class in 1999, I was hooked. I knew, like, it immediately resonated with me, and I never looked back. And I took a few lessons because we're going to do something, I'm going to do it correctly. And I never looked back. And I actually owned my own boxing and kickboxing gym for a short time.
Wow.
Unfortunately, it was 2008, 2009. We all know what happened then.
Yes.
So definitively not good timing. So, I just take it as a sign it wasn't meant to be. But I've never stopped. I've just never stopped working out, whatever that looked like, whether it was running or, whatever it was, I was doing it.
Yeah.
It's my joy. It's my passion. Especially when there's great music. I'm blessed to have an incredible gym I go to two, but one, the coach plays exactly the kind of music I like, which is club music from like EDM and trance. And so, right. And it's dark in there with black lights. And,
Yeah.
like I feel like I'm in the club. It's great. Yeah. And it's a natural high. And you're right, though, those type of activities engender more energy. Energy begets energy.
Yeah.
You're gonna lay around, you're gonna be more tired. You're gonna keep on moving and going, you're going to have more energy, 100%. In fact, if you look on my social media today, on stories, we just posted the latest article I just wrote. I just got back from my 2-year delayed vacation to Switzerland, and I was, so I was struck by the fact that there were about 38 people on the tour, mostly my contemporary, with one or two exceptions. Some moms came with their daughters who were, let's say, in their 40s. Nobody was active like I was. I was sprinting up cobblestone streets to castles. I was climbing castles. Wherever I could, there were stairs I was running up and down. I was just filled with energy, and the air was crisp and clean, and I felt so exhilarated. It was beautiful there, by the way, like stunning, beautiful. And the other people weren't doing that. They were not capable of doing that because they don't lead this sort of a healthy lifestyle. Right. And you can tell by looking at somebody, not that you have to be fit and perfect, I'm not perfect, but you can tell, again, when somebody has that vibrancy, that inner energy that propels them forward. And it was just interesting. And I just count my blessings that I am so healthy and I'm able to do all these things that bring me joy. Don't misunderstand. I have a left arthritic shoulder and I have to get a cortisone shot, which, in boxing, you use a lot of jabs. And so after so many years, okay. But you know what? I'm the queen of modification. You figure out what works. So, it brings me joy. And as far as the rest of everything, I do follow a very strict protocol with my food. I do a keto intermittent fasting program.
Do you think that helps? Because, there is the expectation of women as we age that when we go through menopause, we start putting on more weight. Do you think that following a specific type of diet is going to help prevent some of those side effects from, going through that change?
I can't answer that from a medical perspective, right?
I know, but from your own personal, I'm not saying that you're going through it or not. I'm just saying, like, as we age, our metabolism just naturally starts slowing down, they say. Like, I'm like you, I'm very active. I stay in the gym. I work out hard. I do HIIT when I'm lifting. And, I've always been very athletic too. And so for me, my fiance tells me I look like I'm in my 20s. And that's because I've taken care of myself. And I'm not, and I know a lot of women that are the same age as me, they don't look like me, and it's because they haven't taken care of themselves the same way. And when they don't do that, you can tell that it's like a fight against time because their metabolism isn't where, let's say mine is, like I can have a piece of cake at 10 o'clock at night and wake up tomorrow and still got like the cuts in my abs, you know what I mean? Whereas I have girlfriends that they just can't do the same things because their metabolism has slowed down.
So, I was one of those lucky women that didn't even realize she went through menopause. So, It was much like my
Bless
mother.
you.
It was the same thing. She should rest in peace. It was the same thing. We really just, it was not an event, thank goodness. But I will tell you, obviously that, yes, as you age, 10 years ago, my body, my abdominal area did look a little bit different.
Okay.
Foods that were not inflammatory to my system 10 years ago are inflammatory today. Hence, I thought I really have to be very careful. And that's why the keto program works for me. That's why the intermittent fasting program works for me. I'm not suggesting any particular type of protocol. You have to find what works for you. However, the truth is that it is 80% food. You can work out and work out and work out, but you can't outwork a bad eating protocol. And so it is really all about the food. But again, if I want my dark chocolate, I have it. Trust me, in Switzerland, I had a blast. You don't want to know well, maybe you do want to know. People are like, really, Gail, you ate that? We went into a cookie factory.
My gosh, my face is so red.
I probably had 30 cookies in this cookie factory because I've never had cookies like this in my life, and you can have free samples. Don't ask. It was like a kid in a candy store. I was like,
you're on vacation. You're on vacation, so you were allowed. You were sprinting up the cobblestone streets, so I'm sure you burned those off easily.
Exactly. But it's all encompassing, right? It's fitness, it's food. I have an unbelievable skincare regime from Clientele Beauty. I'm a firm believer in their products. I've been using them for over a year, and I get compliments on my skin when I don't have makeup on all the time. They are incredible. They've been around since 1979. So talk about tried and true.
Yeah, for sure.
Amazing brand. So I use them for skincare. Of course I hydrate and all those other things. And I'm never ashamed to say I have a great dermatologist. I love my needles. I love my Botox. I love my fillers. Of course. You ask, I'll tell you, I don't have a stigma attached to that.
It's called preventative.
I think that way. Not everybody does, and that's fine. Whatever your vibe is and whatever works for you is great. It just happens to work for me, and it keeps me looking the way I want to look for myself, because that's what it's about, which is another really important thing. Happiness is an inside job, right? You have to be happy with yourself. It's not about what society says, this is going to make you happy, that's going to make you happy. No. You have to do some soul searching and figure out what's going to make you happy. Yeah. And fitness makes me happy. And going to the dermatologist and having Botox and fillers makes me happy. They're dressing a particular way in good taste, but still would not be considered typical for a 61-year-old.
I don't think that you should have. So I don't think anybody should ever think like that. So I think I love what you're all about. And I'm totally against that, because I'm not going to dress like a typical 40-year-old. I'm just not going to do it. I think that people need to get out of things that mentality that holds them back from living a healthy lifestyle. They're so quick to sign up and, oh yeah, the doctor says I should take this medication for this, that, and the other thing. Why don't you get in the gym, clean up your diet, start taking some supplements that complement your body, and live a life that's free of all that stuff, so you can age well. I want to age well. I'm not opposed to aging. I tell people how old I am all the time. I'm 45. Okay, whatever. But I've taken care of myself, and I'm proud to say that. My skin's all right today because I did an exfoliant treatment early this morning. So my face is red today. But you do those things to keep yourself in the now, if that makes sense.
Yes, and again, if it's important to you. I think everybody needs to determine, again, what's going to make them happy and what's important to them. Living a disease-free life, a healthful life, with the knowledge that, God willing, my grandparents lived till 97 and 94, and my parents till 92 and 90. I tell my daughter all the time, Lauren, I think we'll be around for a long time. Yeah. But I don't ever want to be a burden to her. I want to be as healthy as my parents and grandparents were up until the end. And so there are things like you were just stating, you must do in order to stay that way. It doesn't just happen, by itself. But
Yeah.
aging is a privilege. Aging is a blessing. The alternative is not something I'm particularly inclined to subscribe to right now.
Yeah,
I'm not
no.
done. I'm not done with my journey yet. In fact, the best is yet to come, which I'll tell you a little more. But for anybody to say, well, I have to wear this kind of shoe because, or I have to wear this kind of dress because, wear what's flattering on you,
Yeah.
wear what looks great on you, and own it. And it's about self-confidence. Own yourself. Own who you are. I own who I am. Anybody that knows me will tell you that. I 100% own who I am. I'm very happy to be called unique. That's the label I choose.
Perfect. With that being said, where can people find you, support you, be inspired by you, all of that good stuff?
So on social media, I'm a big Instagram person. It is a new account. I did get hacked at the end and held for ransom at the end of last year. So it is a new account, but it is Gail Gensler Official.
Okay.
On Instagram, on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, Gail Gensler. I dabble a little bit in TikTok. It's Gail Gensler. And I have a website, gailgensler.com, where you can read all of the articles that I've written and see places that I've been published. It just ended last night. I was the cover girl for the month of March for a wonderful publication called Best Holistic Life. So you can still go and see it. If you Google Best Holistic Life, you'll see my cover from March. It did exceptionally well. The metrics and analytics were incredible, and it was really out of her wheelhouse, and she loved it. So it was great. It was an incredible experience. I have another magazine coming out in May. I have a women's summit that I've been invited to speak at as well. And then, as I sort of was telling you before we started, 2022 is about me really stepping out of my comfort zone. So I've walked in some fashion shows, live and virtual, but I'm about to do something this summer that's really outside my box. So be on the lookout for something. And again, it's really outside my box, but I'm going to crush it. And I'm going to enjoy the experience. But it's gailgensler.com, and it's Gail Gensler Official on Instagram. And I am very into engagement. So if you DM me and reach out to me and make comments on my posts, you best know I'm going to be talking back to you on social media because I love it. I've met such incredible people through doing that. It's brilliant. So I hope to hear from your audience.
Awesome. You guys, I'm going to put those links in the show notes, so don't hesitate to give Gail a follow. Go check her out. Send her a nice message and just watch her explode over this next year and all the exciting things that she has coming up. So Gail, before we say goodbye, any last words of wisdom or advice for the audience?
Definitely. Do not ever let society dictate what you look like, what you should be wearing, the type of activities that you enjoy, and most certainly the type of workouts that you do. You do you, be you, and remember that it's for you.
Woo! Yeah! With that being said, you guys, this is your host, Deanna Kuempel with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. Please don't forget to comment, review, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll be back with more dynamic guests.